Hi, good morning, everyone. Scott and Raquel. We're here to bring you our final Wellness Wednesday. And today, our topic is going to be around metrics to track for success for your wellness program. So, what are the things you're going to look for to realize a true ROI, return on investment, and VOI, value on investment? So, I'm going to start the first question off, and I'm going to ask Scott, what should you measure and track to evaluate the effectiveness of your wellness program?
Okay, good morning. There are really primarily three metrics that you ought to be tracking for your program. The first one we've talked over the last several weeks about quite a bit, and that's participation on how many of your employees and spouses that are covered under the healthcare plan are completing an annual blood draw and or preferably a preventive exam. So that's number one. And we've talked about really the ultimate goal is to be at 90% or above. And you track that annually, year over year, to see whether you're getting better, you're staying the same, or you're declining. The second metric is tracking the prevalence of certain health risk factors and medical conditions that are identified through the blood draw on a group of people that do the screening year over year. And we call that a cohort group. And we don't include anybody that just does it once and skips a year. We only look at those people that do it year over year to see how that group is trending, whether it's, again, getting better, less prevalence, or staying flat, or getting worse. And then the last metric is kind of like the overall metric. It's tracking the total cost for providing the healthcare benefit to your employees. And we call that healthcare cost per employee, total cost per employee. And the way you define that is it's essentially, it includes the cost of the employee's premium and all the employer's costs. So that would be the medical claims, the pharmacy claims, the administrative costs, as well as the stop loss premiums. And those are the three primary metrics. So I'm going to kick it back to you and have you talk about a real life example.
Yeah,
with a
certainly.
client.
So, one of the things that I always advise clients to do is first and foremost, you want to create an action plan. When you're talking about metrics for success, you want to understand what are the goals and objectives of your program, what are any baseline metrics you have to work from. And then from there, you would look at the clinical data that you would get from a third party vendor. So, a wellness screening data, health risk assessment data, survey data. You would combine that with the data you would receive from your claims analysis and essentially determine how the program is making an impact. So we've done that for our clients. We've done participant, non-participant reports that look at the difference a program's having as it relates to their medical claims, their pharmacy claims, looking at the risk score differences between participant and non-participant. So that gives us a very clear picture of the impact of the program. And the last thing I would say about that is you want to make sure you're sharing that out both with leadership and with your fellow employees at the organization, because you want to make sure leadership knows the impact of the program and is bought in and is aware of what changes we're seeing financially and clinically, and also what the employees are aware of the impact of the program is having, not only for them, but also the impact ultimately on helping to control healthcare costs, which impacts them as well. So I think that's really what we'd like to see with the wellness program in a real life example that I have seen with my clients and been very successful. Scott, I'd like for you just to round out the conversation today on sharing a couple of case study examples of the metrics we have seen with clients who follow our best practices and have realized a true ROI and VOI in their program.
Okay, and these are both high engagement clients. The first client that I'll talk about real briefly is a client that just started their effort a couple of years ago in 2018, and we put in a significant premium differential. We conducted the annual blood draw, and they were able to achieve over 90% of their employees and covered spouses on the plan, and they've pretty much repeated that performance for the next 2 years. And as a result of that, their total cost per employee has actually reduced by 2.4%. So they've gone the other direction versus the market going up 6%, which is outstanding this early in the game. We have another client that has had their program in place for many years, and tracking their total cost from 2012 through year-to-date annualized this year, they've actually reduced their total cost per employee by 12.7%, and they have averaged 96% participation year over year during that entire period of time.
So that concludes our Wellness Wednesday series. I just want to recap the key takeaways. The first one are the 3 metrics that we want you to be tracking are going to be around participation, your clinical trend for your cohorts, year-over-year participants, and the total cost trend. Those are the 3 metrics we recognize are truly important. You want to establish an action plan with key objectives and goals so that you can communicate that to leadership and your employees at the end of the program year. And we want to ensure that you're reviewing your data, working with your wellness vendor and your carrier. And certainly if you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about health management and our best practices, please reach out to Horan Associates. We thank you so much for tuning in for our last Wellness Wednesday, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.